Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, this just doesn't work. I got a special treat tonight. I got my man Voch Lombardi here. Voch, how you doing tonight, man?
What's up, Paul? Paul? Thanks for having me on. Salute.
Paul, man, everybody's always making fun of my age and stuff. Well, the last time we got together here, Voch pretty much put a foot in my ass about the good old debate on Jason Garrett. But tonight, it's a sad, sad day for some of you guys out there. We're going to light a candle for Tony Romo. Because it was 1 year ago today that Tony Romo hung it up.
Oh,
Yes. Voch, that hurt, didn't it?
oh God. As a 26-year-old Cowboys fan, I wasn't really around for the glory days, so I kind of came in that Quincy Carter area. Then the scrubs that we had after all that type of stuff, Drew Bledsoe. So Tony Romo holds a very special place in my heart as a 26-year-old Cowboys fan, man. He pretty much, gave me the positivity of my Cowboy life, and to see him go in a very non-gangster way, walking out holding his lower back, saying "ouch." It was heartbreaking, man. It was heartbreaking.
Well, I got, like I said, I got love for Tony Romo. You have to respect the man, what he did. I mean, he left literally everything on the field. I mean, I'm talking spleen, I'm talking, collarbones, we're talking, ribs, backbones, everything. I mean, he literally left everything on the field. But on the real tip, he did give everything to the team. Unfortunately, he didn't have the team around him. And for whatever reason, it seems like some guys just don't have it in them to get the one.
I think Tony definitely goes underrated in our Cowboys community. I think we can be sort of spoiled sometimes, like that man walked out there with, Julius Jones and made it work.
Yeah.
He made Miles Austin relevant. He made Alex Ogletree relevant. He made Laurent Robinson relevant. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And the 1 year we finally put all the pieces around him, and people will say, "Oh, well, you can't win without pieces around you." Not a lot of quarterbacks can win without pieces around them. You get DeMarco Murray having the biggest season of his life. You finally put a young offensive line in front of him. Dez was what he was, and he just built that team to be Romo friendly. I know we've been saying the whole friendly word a lot, but when you finally get a Romo friendly team in front of him, we saw what he was capable of doing. It's just a sad notion that we didn't see Tony win a Super Bowl for us. But
well, I'm gonna put a question to you here, because I believe that a lot that Tony Romo did on his own. I look at some of the biggest plays that Tony Romo made were plays where he bought himself some time. Like you look at him running away from J.J. Watt and getting himself, basically throwing open to Terrence Williams. Did he cover up, in your opinion, for a lack of creativity in our offense?
I wasn't the football, knowledge guy, back then that I am now. Like I said, I'm 26, so I would have to go back and do some research. But I can speak on the talent that he had around him. Ogletree, Robinson, Miles Austin. He made it work with those guys with a older offensive line. Marion Barber was behind him. You know what I mean? Like Marion Barber was cool, goal line guy.
Yeah.
Marion Barber wasn't elite like that.
Well,
Felix Jones, Julius Jones wasn't elite like that.
Truth be told, we didn't have a running game until DeMarco Murray after Tony Romo came in 2014. In that first game against San Francisco, it didn't look like he could throw the ball more than 25 yards, and it seemed like we had to rely on the running game until he got better. But when you think back in all those other years, I think Julius Jones was the only running back who had 1,000 yards. Am I wrong on that?
You're right. I think the one thing I really hated the most about Tony Romo was this stigma that he was a choke artist of some sorts. Like if you look at the games, like we would be losing, and then Tony would bring us back.
Oh yeah.
But they would just score back on us again. Like we had no defense, and
that was going to be my point. Yeah.
The team was in shambles, and Tony basically had to fight his way through that, and it worked. Like perfect example. Denver Broncos, right?
Oh
When
my God.
2015, when Peyton Manning was as good as he ever been, and that offense was ridiculous, and we get
Yes.
into this 40 some odd point shootout, and Tony leads us to victory until that Denver Broncos team scores on us again. Will we
Yep.
give it back to Tony? Tony, save us for a fifth time, Tony. Save us a sixth time, Tony. Then he throws the interception in. How about we take care of business?
Yeah, well, here's an interesting thing, and people never focus in on this one. Everybody always said that Tony Romo choked in December, but I dare say if you actually go back and look at DeMarcus Ware's numbers, DeMarcus Ware, generally speaking, gets most of his sacks September and October, but towards the end of the season, his numbers actually tailed back, and he had very, very few sacks towards the end of the season, and that was part of the problem with the Cowboys, which actually brings me to my point on the Cowboys for the draft. A lot of people are saying that we need to go ahead and focus in on the offense. Some people are saying Calvin Ridley or Will Hernandez. I think we need to focus in on our defense, because when you look back at all of the games that we've lost against Aaron Rodgers and the failings to Tony Romo, it was because the defense couldn't stop anybody.
True. And I'm with that. Even though our offense is like our big thing or whatever, and
Yeah.
the Cowboys YouTube, conglomerate or whatever, y'all have been hearing me say Will Hernandez, Will Hernandez.
Yes.
Well, that's me trying to be realistic. That's me thinking at 19, just who will we have at that point? Don't get me wrong. If Vita Vea is there at 19, let's go get him. If Edmonds, James, any of those big defensive guys, if they're there,
Right.
let's go get them. The big name that I'm thinking about is Harold Landry. If y'all haven't, if y'all don't know about my YouTube channel, it's Voch Lombardi. Go check it out. It'll be on a link somewhere. I did a video on Harold Landry because people was talking mess about Harold Landry, and I got pissed off, and I pointed out how good Harold Landry really was. I would love to have that type of pass rusher on my team. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just that I don't think he'll be there.
Well, we can only hope. Well, speaking of who you think is going to be there, how do you see the draft playing out? We know quarterbacks are at a premium when RG can get a job with Baltimore, that Sam Bradford can get a job on basically 3/4 of a game last year in Arizona. It looks like there's going to be 4, if not 5 quarterbacks probably taken before us. And hell, for all we know, somebody might even reach for a 6th one. Who do you think might fall to us?
So if you look at the 5 quarterbacks, we need somebody to fall in love with them. We look at the guard, we look at the running back. Chubb is pretty much out of our reach to move him up. Edmonds, just move those guys up.
Right.
We have a solid pool to work with. So there are two factions of Cowboys fans now. Some of us wants to hang back at 19, but the others want to move up to like 12 or 11 or so.
Costs you a lot.
I've been doing a lot of mock drafts on my, my little phone, my little fan drafted app or whatnot. And I think, what if Minkah Fitzpatrick falls to like 10, 11, or 12? It's easier to move from 19 to 12 than to do the whole sell the farm thing, right? Because once you get out of that top 7, you don't have to sell the farm. To go from 19 to 12, you can give up like a 2nd and a 4th, and you'll be good. So I mean, if you feel comfortable with moving from 19 to 12, giving up those picks, Derwin James might be there. I wouldn't move up for Vita Vea, but I would definitely go for one of the safeties. Minkah might be there. I wouldn't move up for Harold Landry, but Roquan Tremaine Edmonds might be there. It just depends on what you think the biggest needs are. But if you want to play conservative cowboy guy, like our team has been doing, they don't really move up and down. They just kind of stay where they at. And they draft well, first round. You got Hernandez. You got Wynn there. Calvin Ridley it's been looking like he might fall to us. Roquan Smith, people may think that he's small and may not like him. He may fall to us. Somebody like one of those D linemen may fall. Corner is a possibility. It's
wide open. It's really going to be the best man available then.
Absolutely.
Well, if it were you and Calvin Ridley fell to us, would you take him?
It depends on who else is on the board. It really, if Calvin Ridley's on the board and Vita Vea and Harold Landry is also on the board, Calvin Ridley can go on to 20 and 21. If I would go Will Hernandez over Calvin Ridley because I
would definitely do that one.
I feel good about the receivers at 50 that I could possibly get, because as far as 50, like the best guard is going to be gone. Like Hernandez,
Definitely.
Wynn,
Yeah.
Daniels, all those guys are going to be gone. But it's plenty of receivers. You can get a receiver second round, third round if you want to. So just based off value. And plus, Calvin Ridley is not a true number one receiver. You know, he's not going to come in and, you know, take Dez's spot or anything like that. He's still small. He's not a big, you know, red zone threat. He doesn't get over on people. He's a great route runner, and he's a sort of kind of can catch quasi guy. And he can, you know, make big plays downfield, but it all depends on what you want to do with him. But I wouldn't take him that early.
No, I wouldn't either. And because I look at it like this. Generally speaking, we got all our eggs in one basket as far as wide receivers if we end up taking him. And generally speaking, when you look at New England, when you look at the Eagles, both of their leading receivers were tight ends. And I'm not sure that the wide receiver having the, you know, top dog wide receiver, especially with our offense being more of a ground and pound, I definitely would take Will Hernandez over Ridley because I believe getting that offensive line, getting Dak Prescott some time, if they can open up holes like they did in 2016, you're going to have 8 men in the box, and that means you're going to get single coverage on the wide receivers. You don't necessarily have to have a premium wide receiver. You just need somebody who can get, you know, separation downfield and at least be a threat, and it'll open up for everybody else. But I still feel like that defense is got to be where we get some extra help. Instead of saying we're going to hope that we can keep our defense off the field, that we're going to want to have a defense that we say, yeah, we got our defense on the field. That's going to give us a short field by getting a turnover or something. And we haven't had that in quite a while.
It's really so amazing, and I say this every year, really. It's so amazing what Rod Marinelli can do with just
nothing.
Nothing. You know what I mean? And look, I said this with Law Nation the other day. Like 71% of Cowboys fans are emotional.
Yeah.
They're idiots. They're irrational. They just go off of this fuel that doesn't really have logic, and they just say things just to say them sometime. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pull it right out their ass.
What just out of nowhere, man? Like you know, like draft our identity, man. Like we are a run first team. Like right. Well, we can just be okay at guard. We don't have to be great at guard. Y'all wasn't saying that when Ron Leary was whooping people at guard. You felt good about having a top tier guard then.
Yeah.
I bet you was one of the better guard when Chaz Green was out there looking like he was getting his lunch money taken. Like crap. We are a run first team, y'all. In case you didn't know. In case you, let me tell y'all something, man. Even if you one of those Dak Prescott Cowboy haters,
here we go. Voch is going off, y'all. Watch out.
Even if Dak ain't on the team next year, don't you want your next quarterback to have an elite offensive line in front of him? If you're gonna be a run first team, you want Ezekiel Elliott to be behind that Porsche, to be behind that quality, to be behind a mansion. You don't want Zeke running behind a shack, behind a Mazda. You want Zeke with the best of the best.
You want him behind Road Raiders.
You want Zeke to feel like the king of Zamunda behind that offensive line, man. You don't want to just say, okay, we'll be fine with the guy that we got in free agency. We'll be fine with Irvin. Cool. We'll be fine with Fleming. We'll be fine with Cam Fleming at right tackle, but we'll be even better if Cam Fleming was the swing guy.
There you go.
Because we know what a lack of depth can do for our team. You know what I mean?
Preach it, man, because that's what that's what's driven me crazier than anything else. Because as we've gone through with the free agent signing, everybody's looking for the big name player and everything else. And they'll say something like, oh, well, he's just a depth guy. It's like, hello? You realize if we had depth, if we had a better tackle than Chaz Green, we would have been in the playoffs. If we had a backup linebacker to take care of Sean Lee's spot, we would have been in the playoffs. So, yes, we need depth. That's what New England has done better than anybody else. There's nobody on that team, with the exception of Tom Brady, who's not replaceable. And they will trade anybody to get value back. That is a known fact.
People think just because we went 9-7 that we're a bad team. You know, we just lost our 3 best players in the same 6 games at the end of the season. Dak Prescott was a gangster in the first half of the season because I remember the O-line playing bad, and I remember saying, man, Dak is really carrying the football team here. But then he loses the star of the offense. Then he loses the most important piece of the damn run first offense, which is your left tackle. Then we
Right.
lose our general on defense. Now all of a sudden, Dak Prescott can't
And
play
you
football.
still ended up 9-7.
And still got 9-7. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of holes in this football team like people think they are. Y'all play too much Madden. Y'all want all 22 people to be Pro Bowlers. It doesn't work like that. You get your core guys, which is our offensive line, which is that running back, which is that guy playing linebacker. You get your core guys and you build around that, and you add a little bit of depth. Stop saying stupid stuff.
Oh wait, hold on. You telling some fans to stop saying? Come on, man. You know that's not gonna happen.
You know, it was some people that was talking about let's cut Zeke and trade up for Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
You know some Cowboys fans saying that? You know what I'm saying, Mark?
You
see the Cowboys fans
me.
that want to cut Dak Prescott. You see the Cowboys fans that want to cut Sean Lee. You see the Cowboys fans that say, well, Tyron Smith getting old. He's getting hurt too much.
Right,
Let's just get rid of Tyron Smith.
Yeah, I believe me. I've seen them all because a lot of times you look at them and like, what the hell? I had somebody say that they would rather have Sam Bradford than Dak Prescott.
Man,
Come on, man.
I see some Cowboys fans sometimes. I just want to take off my Cowboys jersey and put on a Jaguars jersey just to lie, just to not fit in with those people. I don't relate to that 71% of emotional Cowboys.
Wow.
I don't.
Yeah, well, we know how they are, man. But, you know, it takes all of us to make the world go round. Well, I appreciate you calling in on this. We've got to do some more videos and stuff together. In fact, I'd like to do a debate with you. I don't know what the subject's going to be just yet. We still have the whole Dez Bryant situation. Let me ask you,
Yes, sir.
when they do finally have that meeting with Dez Bryant, what do you think's going to happen?
I think we're just gonna have to eat that money and hold on to Dez Bryant. You know, the Cowboys, they don't typically do a lot of emotional spur of the moment type of things, man. If they got to eat money just to hold on to guys, they will eat money. We're eating money now, you know. So I do think this is a very prove it type of year for Dez, for Jason Garrett, for Dak Prescott. This a very let's see what you got type of year, and I think based on this year is going to indicate what's going to happen moving forward. In my personal opinion, why would you cut Dez Bryant right now? You're just taking away a weapon. You know, yes, we're paying him big money, but that's still a weapon on your team that your offense can use. Don't think of Dez Bryant making $14 million. Just think of the total amount of money that you're spending on wide receivers, and just think of the money that we're using towards that position. Because if you take away Dez Bryant, now you're missing a red zone threat. Now you're missing something, and you don't want Allen Hurns and Terrence Williams to be your 1 and 2. And now you have to draft Calvin Ridley when you could have been fixing
unless you got Aaron Hernandez, and we're just gonna run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, fair enough. Zeke get 40 carries.
There you go. Right, exactly. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. Voch, tell everybody where to find you besides coming up at the draft.
Hey, man, follow me on YouTube. I break down film on college prospects. So if you're a little inquisitive, I show it on the screen. I'm not just making stuff up. I'm not the peanut gallery. I'm not lying to you. There's proof. Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Follow me on Twitter at that same tag. And
a lot of the talking heads follow him and take a clue from him. So definitely be sure to subscribe to Voch. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo, and thank you guys for being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Let me double check it.